welcome to Women TV once again. Today we have a very interesting guest with us, and she is Nandita Saxena Paul. And she has been very proudly a special needs educator, learning support, and remedial teacher with 35 years of experience in teaching in both Indian and international schools. So hi Nandita, thank you for coming on our show.
Hi Shweta, thank you for inviting me. I'm not sure how I can help, but I will try my best.
Oh, thank you. So this is really interesting. I would like to know more what it is to be a special needs educator.
The journey of me being a special needs educator started in 1996 actually. 1996 I quit my regular teaching and I decided that I needed a break. And while I was on a break, I had a couple of people come to me. They had their siblings and their children with special needs, and they said they wanted to look for somebody who would be able to help them either with their vocational training or with their academics. So I hadn't done this before, but it was something that had always been at the back of my mind that, somewhere I think this community, the special needs children, they were being neglected. So there was so much of potential there, but there was nobody that was actually willing to give them a shot, give their potential a shot. So I took this up. One of the friends that had her brother with a lot of special needs, difficulties. We did a program where I did a 6-month vocational training program for that child and saw a huge difference. And after that, I think my journey as a special needs educator just took off. So I joined as a shadow teacher, one of the British schools there in Dubai. And I used to work with a kid there, but I realized that just working with that one single kid wasn't what inclusion was. Okay. So I realized that, I think what we really need to do is we need to look at that chunk of, the children that fall through the gap, but they're not labeled, they're not, kids with special needs, but they have lots of other issues. So we decided to work as a group. So we had these special needs children along with the regular kids, and we used to have inclusive classes where we had, the two main concepts that we worked on was one to, have the children with special needs work on their self-esteem, and the other children that came into our remediation classes to be able to learn to empathize. So that was something that really, really stayed with me, and even today I practice that.
That's great. And we would like to know that which are the challenges you face as an educator?
Okay, so primarily as a special needs educator, the challenges that I have faced, and more so after coming back to India, is that there is very limited knowledge about children with special needs. There's very limited knowledge about special education. Yes, there is, I see a lot of difference in a lot of preschools. They are trying to be inclusive. But what I feel is that inclusion doesn't mean just physically getting a child into the classroom. And, yes, what we actually need is to change the classroom to fit the child in. We're not just bringing the child into a classroom. So when I go into preschools where the children that are coming to me for remedial sessions, they are studying, I request the preschool, the teachers and the head teacher to make some structural modifications. So if you have a child who's got cerebral palsy, we need to have a little bit more open space. We need to have them on the ground floor, not the classes on the first floor, because even if the child can walk, yes, some children can walk, it is still dangerous. There is a safety issue there when you have a child walk up one flight of steps or two, or even carried, So that is one thing that I found should be changing. When you're talking about inclusion, inclusion is not a one-way traffic. Inclusion is getting the child in and then modifying the classroom around,
Yes.
That was one challenge that I faced. The second challenge that I faced is we are talking about inclusion, but we are actually doing everything for the child. So when we're talking about inclusion, I have a lot of children who I am doing remedial sessions with who are in mainstream schools, but what's happening is the curriculums are not modified, the IEPs are not made according to their needs. So I'm stepping in, doing some in-service training for staff. I do some training programs for the staff, and I tell them that how do you want to modify the curriculum? Because if a child is learning, and I mentioned this to you before, if a child is learning about ABC and numbers and never going to apply that in her or his life, that is redundant. So when your IEPs are being made, look at the activities of daily living that the child does. Put all your curriculum around that. So if you're talking about a child wanting to remove his shoes or put his shoes on, you can bring in a number there. So you can say, I'm counting up to 5, you need to undo your strap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So it doesn't have to always be a cognitive element and a therapy element. It can be interconnected.
Absolutely.
And this is what I have been telling a lot of my, the schools that I visit, do some training program for them. And I think I must appreciate that some schools are actually doing that now.
Oh, that's good. That's good news.
Yeah.
And which are the preconceived notions you find across our country?
Many. Let me just give you one example that I had been to one school here. Obviously, I don't want to name that school. But what happened was the mother used to bring this child to my house for remediation, and this child has got dyslexia, and he goes to a regular school. He's given some withdrawal sessions outside of his classroom. So the teacher had brought in a photocopy, and they were all looking at the blend G and R, so all the words that start with gr. And it was all in black and white, and the child obviously it looked like grass. You and I know, because we can see that it was black in color, and the child was supposed to write green. It was green grass. Now if you have a photocopy which is black and white and you expect a child to write grass as green, I don't think that's right. Not for a child who has got already issues with his learning. And the child wrote black. So I told the teacher, if I were in your place, I would give him a 10 on 10, because it is black.
Yes.
So that is where we need to change. Why are we have to change ourselves, not the child. There is a saying, I might not be saying it right, teach the child the way he learns, not the way you think you can teach him to learn. So you're expecting the child to write green grass when you have given him a photocopy which is black. So that was one place where I thought, so what I'm trying to say is the biases are there, that they come with this mindset, a lot of people, including some parents, that our child is not capable, and they're very happy that the schools have accepted the child and they feel it's a sense of obligation. Please don't do that. No school is doing you any, what's the right word? They're not doing you any favor. No, they're not. All schools are supposed to be, it's mandatory on the part of the schools to be taking in children with special needs.
Yeah.
Yes, and if they are capable, you are supposed to be taking in. So forget about the obligatory part. You have to insist on your rights. Your child is capable, give him all the opportunities. You bring in a child into the school, but you exempt the child from outdoor activities because you think that the child can't do this, because the child is in a wheelchair, or the child is...
Or just because that's a more of a work for you. You do that. Yeah.
So then request for some additional help. I'm sure a lot of it's not so much prevalent in India, but abroad a lot of people are happy to provide support for their child, outside support. Ask for that. Lots of parents would do it, but please include your child in every activity. There are my only advice, and if I can say, it's a big word, but my request to parents is, look at the strengths of your children. That's all. You are the best judge for your child. After that, once you realize what your child is capable of, put it down in black and white for the teachers to follow through, for the educators to follow through. That is what I request. So don't go with this feeling that the school has obliged you by taking in your child. They have not obliged you, sorry. They haven't obliged you. Your child has as much right to be in that school as any other child. So that bias has to go. These are children. I will just give you one very quick example. At Art Sphere, where I do my remediation program, and we practice the art-based therapy for children with special needs, we have actually done something very different. We've had some children who are supposedly children with special needs, as we always like to label, actually leading the sessions for the regular children.
Oh, wow.
So we have done that. That is something that I want everybody to replicate. Yeah, I want everybody to replicate that. Bring in these children, give them a sense of their worth. They are in every way as capable of doing things. That is their hobby. So a child who loves to do quiz, he's doing a quiz session with those children. Somebody who's a young girl, she loves to paint and she loves to draw, she's leading a session there. Somebody who likes to sing is doing, somebody who likes to play drums. Why are we presuming that these children are just going to be sitting in one place and doing nothing? That is my message to everybody. Believe in your child. He's the only one, or she's the only one that matters. Everybody else has to fall in line after you've decided what you want for your child. That is important.
So that was Nandita Saxena Paul, and how beautifully she has expressed right from her heart that what we as parents and the parents with children with special needs need to do. Acceptance and treating them normal is what is important.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, Nandita.